Bum, 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 bum. I'm
Thank
singing
God
to
there's
no
nobody watching right
one.
now.
No, they'll be watching. We'll get all the people saying that they watch after, which is, that's what I love to hear.
Yeah.
Well, hello, people in the future, because there's presently zero people here. How are you doing? We are at our regular live stream. Oh, I don't think we sent an email about it, Derek. We have to send the emails, which we didn't do. But
Okay.
hello.
I'm not in charge of sending emails about these things.
No, not yet, at least. Oh, there's someone here. Tom's here, but it
Tom's here.
not showing up. All right.
No,
Hey, Tom.
it's showing up now.
Well, a lot
Uh,
of things
how's it going?
happened. How's it going? I mean, it's 1,000 degrees in Seattle, man. It is like brutal. I do not like the heat here. I am on island time, yet here I am doing this live stream for all of the fans who take
Mm.
time out of their day to show up and support American prestige. Oh, we did do an email. Oh, thank you, Lumberpile85. I could always rely on good old LP85. No matter what, he'll
There you
always be
go.
there for me. But it is 1,000 degrees in Seattle. It's supposed to rain. It's going to be absolutely brutal. My hair looks insane because it's like matted to my head. How are you, Derek? How's the
Yeah.
old DC suburbs treating you?
I am badly in need of a vacation, so
A vacation?
that's
Why?
where I'm at.
Your work is so fun.
Yeah.
Sitting in the trough of human excrement that is U.S. foreign relations.
Thanks.
Does it bring joy to your life?
No.
Well, maybe you should
It
start.
does.
Are you?
I mean, I don't. I'm not gonna confuse what I do for actual work, but I
No, Derek.
do
Don't
need a
neg
little break.
yourself. I mean, I know you're a big fan of the Pua community and that you love mystery. And when you're off camera, you usually wear a
Uh-huh.
12-foot hat a la Boots Riley. But
Yeah.
don't neg yourself, Derek.
Okay.
Never neg yourself. Are you going on vacation
Uh,
this summer? Are we doing a sort of week off where I go on with
I'm
Alex?
not. I mean, I'm taking next week off, like to get away from work, but it's a staycation.
Your staycation. So we're not doing news next
Yeah.
week? Wow,
No,
good
that's
to
already on
know,
the schedule.
Derek.
We've got the July 4th. We're doing the
Oh,
July 4th episode
we
though.
got a couple of July 4th episodes.
We
You
do, but
know,
one's going to be specifically about 4th of July.
yeah, one's going to be. I like our holiday episodes. I
I do
wonder if
too. They're
people.
fun. Yeah.
No, you do not have AC in Seattle. I think Seattle used to be cooler, but now it gets like ridiculously hot in the summers, and it's just very
I mean,
uncomfortable.
part of the reason that we're not taking a vacation this summer, and people should maybe know this, is that we're going to be going to Seattle to drop my daughter off in college in a couple
Oh
of months.
yeah.
So,
So maybe
uh,
we'll finally take a picture together. What do you think our picture should be like? I was thinking like I could dress like George Washington and you could just dress in like a tuxedo, like in Dumb and Dumber when they wore those yellow tuxedos. I think that'd be
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Like all
That's
the,
certainly one possibility. We should keep that on the list.
we should ask any of our loyal fans if any of them are costume designers. I mean, like Chapo and True and on, they all have like awesome photos together, but we got nothing, Derek. We got
Um,
nothing.
have we ever met in person? We have actually met in person,
We
but
have met in person. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, but now we're
Um,
going to meet much more in person and
yeah,
much more often. Maybe we should do
yeah.
it like at the Space Needle. We could like pretend to crush it. That's always
Oh,
fun.
there you go.
That's
Those are always, yeah,
we
those are
just
always
be
good.
goofy. We're just silly. We have fun on this podcast. That's what people
Yeah.
don't get. We have fun together. Yeah,
Um,
we made the horrible decision to spend all of August in New York City, so that's going to be 1,000,000,000 degrees there.
mm,
Well, it'll be fun to get away. We probably have to mess with our scheduling now that we're going to get away. Oh, Leavenworth, yeah, nothing like Christmas in summer, Christmas in July.
there you
Derek,
go.
you'll experience this. There's a town near us, near Seattle, called Leavenworth, which is like it was like one of those old like mountain towns. It was dying until they decided to become like Christmas town. So like
Really?
it's like a Bavarian village that's
Yeah.
Christmas themed all year round. It's called
Okay.
Leavenworth, and
Yeah.
it's like in the mountains. I think in the Cascades. I've never been, but I do like the Olympic Peninsula. The Olympic Peninsula is very, very pretty. Oh yeah, bunny ears is really good. What was that old 30 Rock joke? Whenever they take a photo shoot of a comedian, it's like they're choking a rubber chicken or something. Ours could be like James Bond back to back. That'd be pretty
There you
cool.
go. There
Yeah,
you go.
Courtney's in here making a ton of noise for some reason. She's noise maxing. Um,
She's noise maxing. That's good.
yeah,
That's good.
this is what happens off camera. Everybody, me and Derek, just you know shooting the shit because we don't want to screw that algorithm. But Derek,
Yeah.
much has been going on in the world this week. This is a
Yeah, I
week
should
of the
say, like,
news.
I mean, we can take questions if folks want to jump in the super chat and put some questions in.
Yeah.
We can take questions, but otherwise, yeah, you're just gonna hear us chattering.
Talking about the things. Arcus Island is great. Someone recommended Arcus Island. I think one of the greatest things about living in Seattle is the San Juan Islands. Truly beautiful and rich, but not fully discovered. I think actually Chris Pratt has a home there. Fun fact: Anna Faris's father was a UW sociology professor. And
Really?
so yes, and so I believe I don't think he like quit his job to probably make money, but I think when Faris and Chris Pratt were married, they spent time in Seattle, and to the
Oh,
point where
okay.
Chris Pratt now owns property on, I believe, San Juan Island. And so
Well,
there you go.
that's a real feather in Seattle's cap.
Yeah, no, many
That's
many
pretty
feathers and many
terrific.
caps in this city. See, I'm on island time, man. I don't even know where we are. I'm so drunk. No, just kidding. All right, let's talk about the news. Oh yeah, people were so interesting. Someone's talking about the Omar Bartov interview. If you haven't yet joined the Discord and you're watching this, you should definitely join the Discord because there was a lot of Sturm und Drang over that interview. Some people liked it, other people didn't like it. I thought it was pretty good. I mean, I've been reading him as a European historian, much more than a historian of Israel. And
Yeah, I
obviously,
mean,
he's a historian
I
of
don't.
Israel.
Some of this is like, I think. I mean, I sort of like, we do the interview and then it's done, and I move on with my life and I don't dwell on them. But I don't remember some of the things that people are complaining about in this interview, like that he was doing an apologia for Zionism, which he's not. I mean, really, he's not. But yeah, there were some complaints I
Well, I think
didn't
like
quite register.
I think like the idea was that I mean he does have a breaking point. He does say Zionism started down its path of
Right. I mean,
perversion with
he's
the
not
founding of the state, right? He's not saying that
right.
it's
He's not saying it's
inevitably
been for all time a moral rot on the world, and I get that. But I mean, he's got personal connections
well,
to the
I
country, and I don't. It's hard
see, I
psychologically to
don't
get
even think
past
it's
that.
I don't even think it's that. I think it's more that he didn't articulate what he's actually saying. Is that like the sort of Zionism that Chomsky belonged to in the 30s, which was like a cultural Zionism, which was like this like Ahad Ha'am, who was this Jewish thinker who like had a Zionism that was like disconnected from the land actually. And
Hmm.
so that was what I think this is like really internal Zionism stuff that
Mm,
he didn't really because there's like the labor Zionism, religious Zionism,
right.
cultural Zion. There's like variations on this like nationalist theme. Not all of them are ethno nationalist. Cultural Zionism was explicitly not ethno nationalist. So I think that's what he was saying. He's like
Yeah.
this wasn't like a cultural Zionist project. It ultimately became an ethno nationalist Zionist project. But that
Right.
gets like really into the weeds of like the intellectual history of Zionism. And I mean, to be fair, like cultural Zionism was not exactly ever really that popular, particularly after the Holocaust. The Holocaust pushes it in a particular direction.
Yeah.
He did say something that like I said something that I said was unsophisticated or something, and like I get that, but also like not everything is like so complicated in this particular case. We don't discuss interwar Bundism, but I shouldn't even be answering these, Derek. People want my
Yeah. We should
attention.
not be. We should not be
They
responding at this point.
they got to pay the big bucks.
Yeah.
But well, okay, so why don't we
Um.
talk about
But yeah, I mean, it was interesting. Like I come back to, I guess, like, I mean, this is a big debate, I gather, on social media, where like it's really become, and I hate to use the word like purity contest, but there is this like, there's some arbitrary line that keeps it, I think, getting moved, where if you're, not over the line, you're a bad person, and it's just ever more like down the line of being anti-Zionist, I guess. But a lot of people who are anti-Zionist get accused of being Zionist for reasons that I don't fully understand. But when it comes to somebody like Bartov, I kind of feel like if the people who want national rights for the Palestinians and who want to rectify the harms that Zionism has caused in the world can't find a way to accommodate somebody like Omar Bartover with his outlook, like you're never going to achieve anything. Like you've just drawn your circle so tightly that you've got so few people who can meet that test and be part of the movement or whatever. It just seems strange to me.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. The American left, for understandable to me at least reasons, is it's been out of the coalition of anything for so long that you almost lose the muscle, and it wasn't itself. It's not the fault of leftists that they're not in the coalition. Like the one of the two political parties decided to kick the left out, so like I'm more forgiving than a lot of self critics on the left are of the left. It's like if you haven't been part of a genuine coalition in almost a century, it's not surprising that some pathologies become institutionalized in what for many decades was essentially a political subculture. And I think until very recently, in the last 10 years or maybe less, the left was a political subculture. And so it has like the pathologies you see in all subcultures.
Hmm.
Whether you're talking about people who love chasing twisters, or people who are into aliens, or people who are into obscure punk rock,
Yeah.
or people who are into leftist politics. And by the way, there's not like a lot of those communities have overlapped in the second half of the 20th century, I think, for predictable reasons. So I'm more forgiving of the left of its political pathologies. And I do think that, like, these victories that we're seeing in New York, I think Zoran Mamdani and being just such a charismatic guy who doesn't take the bait is very healthy for left wing politics. And unfortunately, I do think it's the case that any left wing politics is going to find institutional expression through the Democratic Party. And I don't think we yet know how that is going to work out, because the
Right.
Democratic Party is this like elite driven professional managerial class, even to some degree, like top 50 college behemoth that is very difficult, like the Titanic, to move from the iceberg. And to me, that is the more important strategic question than like how the left talks about itself. But that's a very difficult strategic question, and I'm not particularly involved in those politics. But I imagine people around Mamdani are very much thinking about, like, what do you actually do in the actually existing Democratic Party? How is AOC connected to this? What is AOC doing? And things might get very interesting once the 80-year-old boomers fade from the scene. I wouldn't be surprised if something like that happened. But that all that remains to be decided, and it's very difficult to prognosticate about.
Yeah, even touching electoral politics seems like gets you criticized for being impure, I guess. But like, what else are you going to do, really?
Yeah, and like, I don't know, a lot of this stuff about electoral strategy is to me very wispy. It like falls through the hand, and things are always changing, and it's very difficult to be aware of unless you're like hyper aware of like quite local politics. And this is true, I think, even for national elections, like the presidency. Like, really, you're concerned with 7 states. Maybe now you're only really concerned with 5 states, and within them, you're really concerned with 30 counties.
Yeah,
And I just don't know.
yeah, it gotten to be ridiculous. Yeah,
Right. And so like I don't know enough about those spaces, so I kind of like just tune out. Like there's a lot of like nonsense media stuff about how should the Democratic Party message, and I think that's basically all BS. We're not cursing because of the algorithm. That's basically all like you might as well be reading goat entrails,
yeah.
or like following your wife's dreams like Caesar didn't do, or like looking at the what's the one where you look at the birds. That's my favorite. Like the patterns of birds
Oh
are
yeah,
like
yeah. The
are
bird flights. Yeah, the Romans used to
yeah.
do that. I can't remember what the name of it is.
Yeah, no, that's a good one. I mean, that to me is as effective as talking about the Democratic Party's political messaging until after the fact, and then it becomes less interesting because the thing has already happened. But yeah, but it's good news that the socialists seem to be winning. I think that's really positive news. echoing the New York.
Augury. That was it.
Yeah,
Augury.
augury. Yeah, that we should do. Guys, we've got really cool merch coming. That's where auger comes by the yeah. That's where auger comes from. That's yeah, yeah. So we've got good. Speaking of auguries, we've got cool merch. I can't wait to show people. It's really cool stuff. So you could blast your prestige head commitments. Um, yeah, but good news. Socialists are winning. Municipal socialism is always where
I
socialism has been
mean,
strongest in the United
you
States.
know,
It's positive news.
anything that causes upper
Near a
echelons of the
tangent to get
Democratic
upset.
Party to have pain is fine. Anything that causes them consternation, I'm okay with.
Yeah, that is the center of political action these days. Anything that causes your enemy harm is is
That's right. That's
is
right.
what
That's the
well,
animating principle. It has to be, right? Because there's nothing positive to be gained. I mean, we've shut down. Maybe, if you elect enough of these people who actually want to do things to improve people's lives, you could start to do that. But until then, like, screwing your enemies is the only joy you get out of this activity.
I mean, I completely agree. We have the socialist mayor of Seattle, so hopefully she'll be doing something. She's probably a prestige head. Do you think Zoran Mamdani has ever heard our voices? I would say definitely. Like
You
Graham
think?
Plattner definitely has because he used to listen to Michael Brooks' show, so he's at least heard
Oh,
my
okay.
stupid
Yeah.
voice. Zoran
Yeah. I
definitely
was, I
has
mean, I was
definitely
on
heard
Michael's
you on
show
Chapo.
a few times. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
I bet you Zoran heard you on Chapo. There's no way he wasn't listening to Chapo in the late 2010s, right? Zero
yeah,
chance.
probably.
We should be his foreign
Probably.
policy advisors. Just he has like
Yeah,
an
I mean that's one thing the mayor of New York needs is a foreign policy.
extremely
Yeah,
radical foreign policy positions. Where
yeah,
are these coming from?
definitely fits the office.
So all of you Zoran heads out there, connect us to him. All right, Derek, we've got a freaking grab bag of topics. Do you want to do England or do you want to do terrorism charges in Texas?
I don't. Oh, I don't. I mean, you're gonna have to explain to me what the terrorism charges in Texas are, but we could start with England. That's fine.
All right, let's start
It's
with.
the United Kingdom, actually. Let's be clear. It's not just England.
Do you think Scotland's going to become independent soon?
No,
You don't
I
think
don't.
so?
I
You
don't
are
think
you
so.
do you don't think they'll do what they did with Northern Ireland? Where what is it? Northern Ireland is still like part of the EU in parts. It's like this very strange arrangement where they
It's
get some
it's
sort of.
not really. There's like a electronic customs that's supposed to be seamless at the border. And they do some. I think they do some custom checks now on things that travel between Northern Ireland and the rest of the UK. But it's not it's not part of the EU. It's like a EU minus type of thing. But yeah, it is kind of in a liminal space, I guess, between the UK and the EU.
We love liminal
But
spaces.
Scotland, there's no reason to do it with Scotland. Like, there's no reason for the UK to do that with Scotland. Like the reason to do it in Northern Ireland is obvious. You don't want to return to the troubles. But I don't think there's anything.
Well, I'm just glad Sean Connery isn't alive to hear you, Derek. You're betrayer,
I
betrayer.
just, I mean, look, I'm in favor of it, but go independent. They should just go independent and not join the EU if they really want to be
They
independent.
should
But
join the United
like,
States. They
yeah,
should
they
join.
should.
They
This should
should
be
join Israel.
53rd state or whatever. Yeah, confederation with Israel, that would work.
All right. So why
But
don't you?
I just don't see it. I just don't see it happening. Like, I'm not making a moral judgment. I just don't
Well,
see
I
it
believe in Scottish
practically happening.
independence. What it's
Okay.
the SNP, right? That's the Scottish National Party. Is that correct? Am I remembering
Yeah.
that correctly? Yeah, yeah, yeah. So they're actually sponsors of the show. Um,
Maybe they can fight another war. They can like resurrect Robert the Bruce and fight another war against the English.
Robert the Bruce. He was the real Braveheart, Derek. William Wallace is not the real
That's
Braveheart. It's really Robert the Bruce.
that movie is takes a lot of historical liberties, yes, and
We
none
were
more so than in the treatment of Robert the Bruce, I think.
Yeah, I'm actually curious. We have been thinking of doing a historical film special series with some of the friends of the pod. I'm curious if people would be interested in that. Like, we get a specialist on Braveheart, we get a specialist on
Yeah,
Rome, we get a specialist on World War II. That would be a fun, I think, miniseries. A little lightness, to lighten
yeah.
the vibe of American prestige. But Derek, let's talk about England. The empire continues to fall. How many prime ministers has England had in the last 10 years?
This
Seven?
next one will be the seventh in 10 years.
That's pretty not
That
good. Is
is,
that the most in history?
I don't. I mean, I don't know. I have to believe yes. In a decade in the UK, that has to be the most. I
I'm
mean,
trying to
it's
think.
you're getting into
Yeah.
levels of dysfunction that like 2000s Italy or Japan at one point we're dealing with. Um, it's yeah, it's not good.
We just need a strong man, an English Silvio Berlusconi to come
Well,
and
I mean, that's what
save the
Nigel
day.
Farage wants to be, so maybe after the next
Yeah.
election, but that's not for
Well, so what do
a
you think
while yet.
what do you think this dysfunction indicates? Because I mean, I was funny. I was teaching
The
today
Labor
about.
Party doesn't have any answers for people. I mean, it's the
Oh,
same thing that
clearly.
happened to, like Tony Blair fucked the Labor Party. He took it away from anything having
F
to do
the
with
Labor Party.
actual labor. And he ruined the party, turned it into Tory light, which is what happened to the Democrats. And they don't have any solutions for people. So it's the same pattern. Like you elect the Tories and they're incompetent and corrupt, and then you bounce back to labor and they don't have anything different to do. So you just ping pong back and forth between the two of them, and whichever party's in power is unpopular. The difference now is that there's been a surge in like further out on the edges parties like Reform and the Greens, and that could change things. But when it was just the two main parties, and then the liberal Democrats like straddling the difference, I guess. There was nothing for people to grab onto.
Yeah, I mean, I think like it's quite it's really interesting because I was teaching today about sort of like Alfred Thayer Mahan and his book on like the influence of sea power upon history on British naval mastery, and in like not that long time, in 130 years, what the United Kingdom has become is truly wild, and I'm wondering if you think that obviously there are these proximate causes, like you said, like the soft neoliberalization of the Labor Party, Thatcher destroying the union base in the North, and then in the 80s, I mean the collapse, the English economic crisis of the 70s. But like, what does it say about like Great Britain as a world historical actor? Because it really was a world historical actor for more years than not during the era of the modern colonial period of 1500 on. What do you think it says? Nothing good.
Um, no, I mean they're washed. Like, I mean they're just washed. Like, I don't know how else to put it. It's an afterthought. Like, does anybody think of the UK? Like, even France and Germany. When you think about Europe, you can say that's
They're much
mostly
more
France and Germany, and
robust.
Europe is
Yeah.
sort of a upper mid level power. It's not a great power, but it's got the economic heft at least to be at that level. But the UK now, I mean, now that they've left the EU, what is that? It's nothing. They get bullied around. They got bullied around by the US over Diego Garcia. They get bullied around by everybody at this point.
Is there any discussion within the UK? I mean, I remember when some forward-thinking Britons were recognizing in the late 19th and early 20th century that the United States was eventually going to displace them. You all of a sudden got a lot of talk about like the English-speaking peoples as being like one political unit.
Yeah,
Is there
yeah.
any of that going on today? Because like, what is the UK's like
Mm,
strategy?
I mean,
Like, what does it do?
The Five Eyes Alliance, I guess, right? Like the
Right.
intelligence sharing group.
Yeah, that's basically
Um,
it. So it's an appendage of American empire
yeah,
and
I
like an
mean,
increasingly pointless one.
yeah, I think so. They just they don't really serve a function in that system anymore at an important level.
So, want to talk a little bit about friend of the pod, Keir Starmer,
Yeah,
complaining about missing his children's teenage years in service of the
I
Labor
mean,
Party.
oh my god, like what? Shut up, man! Like this guy takes over me, stabs Jeremy Corbyn in the back, takes over the party, leads it through an election where he just basically falls backwards into a majority in parliament because the Tories were so discredited at that point. They were such a train wreck that anybody could have won that election. And what has he done? He's overseen the collapse of Labour support, and then to say, as people are waking up to this fact and saying we need new leadership, to turn around and say I sacrificed my children's childhood to make the Labor Party better. No, dude, you destroyed the Labor Party. You wrecked it, probably for, I mean, I don't know what Andy Burnham's going to do, assuming that he takes over as PM. I don't know, maybe he'll be able to salvage it, But if not, if they go into the next election with the situation the way it is now, like Labor has a real is it real risk of being like the fourth or fifth largest party in Parliament. Like there it's the polling is that much on a knife's edge at this point. And that would be a historic disaster for them. So,
Yeah, since the
come
19th
on, dude.
century. Yeah.
I'm sorry that you sacrificed your kid's childhood, but you did it for nothing. You did it to screw up the future of the Labor Party. Like you're a loser all the way around. Sucks to suck.
We should get a specialist in British politics because, I mean, again, this is not something I follow super closely, and maybe you know more than I do. But how come we haven't witnessed the rise of a Labour AOC or a Labour Mamdani or even in the Green Party? It doesn't seem like there's a next generation of radical figures that like are coming up to like provide at least an answer to the failures of modern neoliberalism. What have you heard anything, or do you have any understanding of like the structure of British politics? Because at least in this country, you do see that on the municipal level. You do see DSA, whatever, quintupling in
Right.
membership since the Bernie 2016 run. And America is always strange. I mean, the example I always use is there's zero social democracy until the New Deal, and now it's the most social democratic country in the Western world. So, have you seen something like so in America it's a little bit more explainable, but like parliamentary systems are supposed to be different. They're supposed to incorporate criticism a bit more coherently. But yeah, have you seen any of that or not really?
I mean, it depends on what you mean. Like Burnham, I mean, Burnham's he's 56, so he's not really a
He's a
young,
youngster.
sprightly youngster. Although I guess by the standards of the U.S., he is. But he does come from like outside London. He's from the northern, like traditional labor base, and does seem maybe like he wants to break with the neoliberal tradition here. I don't know, but he could be at least some a fresh face or some fresh ideas. I don't know him well enough to know. I mean, there was that Your Party effort that Corbyn led with Zara Sultana that seemed like when it initially started was going to be like Corbyn kind of hand passing the baton to a younger generation, and then now he and Zara Sultana hate each other. I mean, the party's already like fragmented, so I don't know what good that did anybody, but that could have been something because I got the sense that it was its own party, but also maybe a way to try and like backdoor their way back into the Labor Party and bring some more vibrance to it. But again, it fell apart under its own weight.
Yeah, and so this is the big why is I mean this is almost a macro historical question is that why do liberal parties seem so unable to incorporate the criticism of them, which is the historical strength of liberalism. And this is something that you're seeing I think across at least Anglo America. I'm not as familiar with Germany and France, but this is definitely an important phenomenon that we're seeing. So, I mean, how would you sell? And but just to answer Tom, yes, Tom, sure. If Tom wants it, I'll do it. More movie TV content. I have not seen that about effects, but good for them.
I didn't. I Yeah, I'm just googling this. Like, there's I guess Disney, which I guess owns FX now, is doing a show called The Koreans. Yeah, that's interesting.
And they're going to release it
That's
in the
interesting.
United States.
I mean, I don't know. I guess
Is it in
probably. Why
English? If
not?
it's in
Yeah.
South Korea, then it would be in Korean,
Yeah.
right?
I don't know. I don't know.
Interesting.
It
Cool. It's
doesn't say
interesting
in
how
this
Korean popular
in the
culture has
article
become
I'm
so
reading.
popular. Yeah. See
Um,
everyone when you super chat, we answer you right away. We're such good. We please our consumers.
but
Um,
that is interesting. Like the Americans was such a good series. Hopefully
Excellent.
they get some people. They get a couple who can pull it off the way that
They should
Terry
put
Russell and Matthew Reese did.
Well, they should have them guest in it. They should like now that they left the United States, they could lead the
Yeah, that's right.
Koreans.
They can, show up in North Korea to do some training or something.
So what's your ultimate analysis of Starmer? Good guy, tried his best.
Loser, capital L loser.
Mm,
Um, just
Mastermind.
never had any vision or any idea of what he wanted to do other than he was going to be the guy who got into office and then told the hard truths that the British public needed to hear. which is sorry, we have nothing for you. Go, piss up a rope.
Oh, they're so
And like
terrible, man. Ugh.
shockingly, nobody liked that message. So I guess you got to go back to the drawing board on that one.
Well, at least he's going to be able to spend more time with his children. I wonder what the children think about that. Let's move on since we haven't gotten any questions yet. Let's except Tom encouraging us. Thank you, Tom. Let's move on to our other major topic, which are these terrorist charges in Texas. Which, my understanding, again, not an expert, is that people have been sentenced to. There was one person who opened fire and wounded a cop, and he was sentenced to, I think, 100 years in prison, which is understandable and predictable. There were a bunch of other people who, to my understanding, were sentenced to decades in prison for being associated with Antifa under domestic terrorism charges.
Oh, that's
And
great.
so, yeah, yeah. I mean, like, this is just probably the clearest example of the war, quote unquote, coming home. The
Right.
latest and clearest example after the ICE raids in Minnesota of the war, as always, coming home. That the second you start using tactics and understandings abroad about it reminds me of like how they described ISIS when I was reading about it. Decentralized terror network that are nonetheless guided by ideology. It's like 2014 all over again, Derek. Except this time, 10 plus years later, it's come to describe American political action. And so this
What
is
is the act of terrorism? I mean, apart from the guy who shot the cop, I guess. Like, what is the act of terrorism? Like,
well, I think the association
my
with Antifa.
naive understanding is that if you want to charge somebody with acts of terrorism, they have to actually commit an act of terrorism, and I don't think any of these people did, from what I can tell, except that they were part of an organization or have been connected to an organization or a movement that this administration defines as a terrorist organization, which gets you to the problem of leaving it up to the president to just decide who is and isn't a terrorist in his administration with no oversight or check on that power,
The term
which
shouldn't be
takes you into all
used.
kinds of things. It takes you into absurd criminal charges. It takes you into, blowing up random boats in the Eastern Pacific and the Caribbean that could be people out for a fishing trip but get designated as drug boats and bye bye. Like it takes you into all sorts of horrific places. But yeah, we have done this to ourselves over the last 25 years.
I mean, what the designation does, and I think what its primary function is clearly not to describe a tactic, which is fundamentally where the term terrorism comes from, but is to identify someone as outside consideration within normal politics. I think is essentially its function. It's basically identifying someone as within the state of exception to normal
Yeah.
politics, and so this is a drum that I've been beating for a long time, and there have been people who are particularly, critics on the left, which is like, oh, the left won't use the word terrorism, but I think this is just like another. This is just a salient example about how allowing the government in any capacity to determine who is and who isn't within normal political action is a problem. And I think you see it in two primary ways on the modern era, which is this designation of terrorist. And then you also see it, and this has been going back a very long time on the border. That the border, what is it, 100 miles of the border, right? You could ask for IDs, I think it is, which is where the majority of the American population lives.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think like this could be like as obviously these municipal elections are municipal and municipalities. I mean, they are increasingly connected to national security, particularly after the militarization of the police after 9/11. But it's not like in their traditional bailiwick. But a future national or Senate leftist, I mean, should really, really use their power to limit these states of exception, to basically say, like, you have to follow due process within the confines of the border space, and that terrorist is not a legitimate designation of basically anyone, because it's too floaty, too loose, and able to be basically of use. And so this is actually, I think, something that the left should focus upon. Um, yeah. Oh, and then I'll just answer this question of Prague 8454. Helena Rosenblatt's The Lost History of Liberalism. It's not post-Napoleonic Europe. It's within Napoleonic Europe, and she, is my understanding, is not the first historian to trace liberalism's beginnings to really this, basically after the terror. But yeah, you should check out Rosenblatt's The Lost History of Liberalism as a book that really shapes my own understanding of the history of liberalism. The book doesn't talk much about Cold War liberalism. She actually blurbed our book on Cold War liberalism, but yeah, that's where that comes from. But yeah, I think like this is where we really need to, is that like that should be like a concerted political thing on the left where discourse actually matters. And it's just no good to use a designation of terrorist
Yeah.
whatsoever. So fam, I'm wondering, before we go, I actually have some place to be, so I might call it a little quick, but I did want to give people the opportunity, if there's actual questions, I will we will answer them. So let's sing One American Prestige theme. Dun, 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 to give people the time to ask questions. Do we have a fun
I'm sorry,
bonus
was
this
I
week, Gareth?
supposed to do this? Do we have what?
Who's our bonus this week? Did we figure it out yet? Is it Aziz?
Um, did we? I thought Aziz. Yes, I thought
It's
we
Aziz.
settled on Aziz. Um, yeah, I don't know for sure.
All right, so we've got
Um,
Aziz coming this weekend.
I mean, it's on. Is it on
Um,
the calendar?
I think it should be on the calendar. Who knows though?
News.
All right. Well,
No, I
this is
don't see anything.
thrilling content. But
Yeah,
everyone, check out. We'll have Aziz on the show, and very interesting. We've got a couple of like sort of big think things coming up because I think that as Trumpism enters its decadent phase, could you go from decadence to decadence? It's becoming increasing from decadence to decadence. The
no, but
history of
how? I
Donald Trump.
mean, like, how funny is it that you can like trace? It's like minutes after the golden age. The golden age lasted 3 hours, and now we're in the decadent period. Like,
Yeah.
it's everything goes so fast now.
Uh,
Yeah.
so I think like a bunch of things that at least I have been struggling with, is how to understand Trumpism and MAGAism as we're entering, at the very least, a new phase, perhaps its period of decay. TBD. But everyone, thank you for listening. And as always, keep on rocking in the free world. Bye bye.
Bye, everybody. Thanks.